What are your memories of your first trip to Memphis?
I'm still trying to forget it. I'm going to tell you a story that you're probably not going to believe. I went into Memphis and I didn't want to go because I've heard so much about Memphis. I walked in the territory. Nick Gulas came up to me and he goes, "Boy, my name's Nick Gulas." I said, "My name is Rocky, not boy." He said, "I call everybody boy." I said, "You're right," but I said, "I'm not everybody. I'm Rocky." After that, I never had a problem.
Huh.
I just never felt comfortable in Memphis. I don't know. The story was I slapped a couple guys in the mouth and I left. He called me on the phone. I went back. I probably made more money than anybody there at that time. But if you want to shoot, I'll give you a shoot. They're backstabbers. They're two-faced. You can't trust them. I told them, I said, if my money's not there, I'm gone. You know what? My money wasn't there, so you don't have to know the rest. I was gone. I was on the next thing that smoked. Yeah, I don't trust them. And as far as me ever sending anybody there, I would never. Let's being honest. Now, I'm talking about as a territory. There's some individuals there that are not too bad.
Right.
And there's some individuals there, if I ever saw them on the street, I couldn't tell you what would happen.
Any names?
Nah, I don't want to.
What are your thoughts on Jerry Lawler?
Like you said, any names?
Okay. What about Jerry Jarrett?
Like you said, any names?
Right. Okay.
You want me to be honest or you want me to tell the truth? Okay.
Cool. When you had sent Rocky down there, did you tell him about what the territory was like, or did you not care because he was already in?
He called and told me.
Right.
He said, "Dad, I had my first experience." I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, I had somebody on the ground by the neck."
Wow.
I said, "What happened?" And he has that Samoan temper. And I told him, "You want respect, you give it."
Right.
And he said, "Dad, I gave respect, but I didn't give it." I said, "Okay."
What happened with him?
I didn't get the whole story because Vince pulled him out and sent him to Louisville.
Right.
I don't know. I guess somebody said something racial.
Huh. Did you find that there was a lot of racism in wrestling when you were when you were in the business?
There wasn't as much as I expected, but there was a lot, and I watched for it because I was a Canadian, and we never had, because I grew up with the Cormiers, the LeBlancs, the Rougeaus,
Right.
I never had it like they have in the States. And, I did find quite a bit. But I never found it as a whole. I found it as an individuals,
So you were able to deal with it pretty much?
Sometimes.
Right.
My nerves got upset.
Did it ever make you want to quit the business at all?
Yeah, a couple times when it was in the promotion, when it was in the office.
Right. Have you ever gone back to Memphis over the last 30 years at all, or
we were just there 2 weeks ago, but we were there wrestling. No, I don't want to go back there.
Thoughts on Tommy Rich?
Well, brother, I will tell you. Everybody has to do Tommy. Tommy wasn't a bad guy. He just didn't know what day it was. He didn't know where he was at. And he probably doesn't know the day. Tommy was all right. I think the problem with Tommy, they give him a push too fast when they give him the world's belt.
Right.
And he didn't know how to handle it. But basically, inside, I think Tommy had a heart of gold. But I also believe Tommy had the wrong people pushing him. He had the Jerry's. He had the Bill Dundee that was so extremely, I was there at the time, that was so extremely jealous of him. And Tommy didn't know, and he was listening, and he's listening to Bill. Well, Bill and them are strictly for Bill. But if you don't know that, if I say to you, "Hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, don't listen to that, Jim Barnett's going to do this to you." They brought Tommy into Atlanta and give him the world's belt. Now, you got guys that's been in this business 25 years and never got that opportunity. But see, Tommy was a young, good-looking kid. But then he just threw it around. That's my opinion.
Right.
I was there when they gave him the belt.
A lot of people say that Jim Barnett was really influential in him getting the title.
Well, Jim was in love with him.
Right. That's what I heard. Right. So
he was. And Jim Barnett had a lot of power, whether he liked it or not.
Right.
And he only needed that belt. Now they switch the belt every second. The belt means nothing today because they switch it every second night.
Exactly.
But at that time, you only needed that belt 2 or 3 weeks to get over it because you could look and say, that guy was world champion. Now you look at 50 of them and say, all these guys are world champions. So what does the belt mean?
Nothing.
There you go.
That's true. Memories of Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, from your days in Tennessee.
I didn't know Paul real well because I had met Paul in Memphis, and he had just got done playing football for the New Orleans Saints. They had brought him in. Matter of fact, he wasn't there no more than 3-4 weeks because him and Dundee clashed. Dundee got smart with him. Matter of fact, it was a charity. What was it? It was a charity baseball game, and I was there with my fiance, and Bill said something smart to him. He said something back, and they clashed horns. And him and Bill got in a tussle, and he whacked Bill upside the head, and blah, blah, blah. And then Jared said something, and blah, blah. Anyway, he left.
Huh.
And I hadn't seen him for about 10 years. Then I ran into him in New York. And I worked with him a few times. He wasn't a bad worker. Then he left there, and that's the last I seen of him.
Wow.
But he ended up being a good worker.
David Schultz, Dr. D.
There'll never be another Dr. D. His eyes was as big as that cup, and he didn't know which way he's going. Last thing I heard, he was a bounty hunter. Huh. I wouldn't want him looking for me.
All right. Did you get along with him at all? Or?
Yeah, I did. I was one of very few because he didn't get along with anybody.
Right.
And if he had something to say, he'd tell you.
Huh. What was he like outside the ring?
Stay away from him.
I think he works for FedEx.
Yeah, he does FedEx now.
Yeah, the last thing I heard, he was a bounty hunter.
FedEx, I heard like last year. Cause
is that right?
Yeah, he did one of these conventions, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
God bless him. Yeah,
Did you ever work him in the ring?
Many times.
Good work?
If it went his way.
All right.
Were you there when he hit Stossel?
Mm-hmm.
Vince put him up to it?
I think he did, but then I think Vince let him take all the heat.
He did, obviously.
Yeah, sure he did. Then fired him.
Huh.
That's what I think.
Memories of the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, in and out of the ring.
I just seen Boogie Woogie Man about 2 weeks ago.
How's he doing?
Well, 150 pounds, boiling these vegetables, and tell me how much he loves me. I think there's a guy that believed in his gimmick so much that in reality it really got to him. Jimmy was 20 years ahead of his time. There'll never be another Jimmy.
What are your memories of him in the ring?
He wasn't a great worker, but everything he done meant something. He was charismatic.
All right.
He knew when to do it. He wasted nothing. You know, some guys can go in there, example, Ron Von Dam. He's got to do 50 things to get over. Boogie Woogie Man could do one at the right time, and he'd be over.
Right.
That was Jimmy. I teamed with him 100 times.
What about the Fargos? Your thoughts on the Fargos?
They were 40 years ahead of their time. They were back in the comedy where the king, the hi-hats.
Right.
Today, it would mean nothing. It's like Gorgeous George with the blonde hair. Now, if you don't have blonde hair, you can't get in the business. You know.
Now, you went back to Memphis for a little bit. Were you treated differently from your previous runs?
Oh, yeah. I was like King Creole.
Right.
I was second Elvis.
Huh.
Yeah. But I only went because sometimes, you know, I'm living in Florida. We have a condo there. We have a small ranch in Missouri. And sometimes I get bored and I like to go back and hang around the business like I did coming up here.
Right.
And I got treated a lot different, but as far as ever getting back in this business, no.
What about Bill Dundee? Did he treat you any differently? Or?
Oh, are you kidding?
Huh.
He had all my money spent.
Huh.
Wanted me to open the bar, wanted me to do this, you know, wanted me to do the other. It's sad when I look at Bill. Bill's 64 years old and still wrestling.
Yeah.
That's sad. He has to. Thank God through my son, and I thank God every day that I don't have to.
Right. What about Ric Flair? Are you shocked that he's still wrestling at his age?
Rick doesn't have to.
Right.
This business is a shoot. It's like syphilis. Once it gets in your blood, you'll never get rid of it. How many boxers? I sparred a lot of rounds with George Foreman. You know, he's getting ready to fight next month. So what does he want to do? Fight some young kid, he might win, and then 3 months from now, he'll be walking on his heels.
Huh.
It gets in your blood, brother. I still work out every day. The doctor asked me 2 weeks ago, why are you working out so hard? You'll never get rid of it. But that's better than me being in the bar every day, drinking 2 bottles of whiskey.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.